everyone, and welcome to Living Healthy and Aging Well. My name is Ken Haglund, and we are broadcasting from the AM 950 radio station that overlooks beautiful Bryant Lake Regional Park, located in Eden Prairie, Minnesota. It's another wonderful day here in the Twin Cities, and I am so grateful to be here with you today, and I hope all of you listening are doing well. We're on the air every Saturday from noon to 1 to talk about your health and your life. We cover a wide range of topics to help you and your loved ones improve and enjoy your quality of life. We have another great show for you today. Joining me in a few minutes will be Nancy O'Brien, founder and CEO of Experience Happiness, based in Minneapolis, Minnesota. And she is here to discuss the relationship between happiness and burnout. The Surgeon General considers burnout the second pandemic, and our youth and people caring for others, either professionally or personally, are at the greatest risk. Burnout has a unique set of physical, emotional, and behavioral symptoms, all of which can be mitigated by cultivating authentic, inside-out happiness. Nancy will share the fundamentals of happiness and why happiness propels well-being on all levels and contributes greatly to our overall health and well-being at any stage and age in life. She will also share the client stories and impact of the happiness practice, which her and her team bring to organizations across the globe. You will enjoy listening to my conversation today with Nancy O'Brien. I want to thank all of you that leave us messages on our radio show phone line. We appreciate hearing from you, and we welcome your comments, questions, and, of course, topics for future shows. Also, if you are interested in being a guest on our radio show, please call or text us at 612-999-3426. You can also contact us on our website at livinghealthyradio.com. There you can find information about upcoming guests as well as listen to our previous shows. We look forward to hearing from you. We are adding new listeners to the show each week, not only here in the Twin Cities of Minnesota, but also throughout the country. You can find podcasts for all of our radio shows on the AM 950 radio website. And we can also be found on iTunes, Spotify, and many other podcast and streaming services. You can also watch our broadcast live on the radio station's Facebook page at AM 950 Radio. If you have a question for us today, there are two ways to reach us. First, by calling the AM 950 radio station, and our friendly show engineer, Tom, will get your call on the air. Our phone number here is 952-946-6205. Once again, 952-946-6205. Or you can directly text us your questions at 612-999-3426. Now, don't worry if you missed those contact numbers. I will repeat them throughout the show. All right, I want to welcome my guest for today's show. This will be so much fun. I've never had a happiness expert on the show in 7 years of doing this, and so we are really grateful to have Nancy O'Brien, founder and CEO of Experience Happiness, and her organization here is based in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Welcome to the show, Nancy.
Oh, thank you, Ken. It's a pleasure to be here with you.
All right. Well, we started talking before the show started, and I've got a lot of questions for you, and you have a lot to share with us. But first, before we get into that, the audience loves to hear a little bit about the background of the person that's on the show. So would you mind giving us a little background?
Yes, happy to, and I'll just keep this brief. I was fortunate to be one of the second females hired in IBM in Omaha, Nebraska back in the 80s. And loved my career at IBM. I mean, we were, transitioning from a manufacturing to services business. And during that time, I got introduced to the concept of experience design and experience strategy. And I'm like, why doesn't everybody do that? So then I got busy flying around the globe doing consulting with clients in all industries, all sizes, helping to improve their employee and customer experience. So doesn't that sound like the right thing to do?
Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah. But I got off the plane one night after being probably, living in corporate housing for 5 years and getting on a plane every Sunday night, returning to my family Thursday night. And I went to the restroom to refresh myself at the airport, and I didn't recognize myself, and I wanted to kill myself.
Oh.
and I had done everything right you're supposed to do to have a happy life. Now, what I know now that I didn't know then is I was suffering from all the 16 signs and symptoms of burnout. But I also had a physician who didn't want to see me for 5 years because I was healthy. I was volunteer of the decade at my kids' school. I had a nice 401k and a pension thanks to my career. I had friends and family visiting every weekend at the cabin. I just got back from a vacation at Fiji. Like, I'm doing everything the Gallup Wellbeing Index score says to do to have a happy life.
The storybook life.
And I was not doing well. My counselor didn't catch it. My therapist didn't catch it. I'm doing Kundalini yoga 5 days a week. I'm going to meditation. And if somebody gave me another gratitude journal, there's going to be a situation. So my friend was kind of in the same pickle, if you will. And we're like, we got to change this up, right? And so we started with just redefining happiness. It's like, we think it's out there in the next job,
right.
The kids getting the grades, the
next promotion,
my husband remembering my birthday, whatever, right?
Always in the future.
Out there.
Yeah.
And so we first like, ooh, maybe we got to redefine happiness. So we started with that.
Yeah.
And then now 17 years later, we're bringing a happiness practice to individuals in organizations or in communities. And helping them not only heal from burnout, but also increase their happiness and their well-being and performance in all stages of life.
Well, as we talked before the show, there are stages to life. Mm-hmm. There's the first third, the learn, the next third, the earn, and the next third, return. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's I've had people on the show who have talked about segments of life and stages of life, but like you're saying, I think our young people, from what I'm hearing, reading, they're the most unhappy of any generation that's preceded us. And how sad is that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's really devastating in the LGBTQIA community because, I mean, this is a sad statistics, but every 20 minutes somebody in that community kills themselves. So the world is suffering, and I would invite all your listeners today to just kind of take a few deep breaths right now and just kind of check in with you. Just, how are you?
Right.
How are you right now? And maybe pay attention if you're really worried about somebody you care about. I have the pleasure of speaking with a lot of people. And I typically ask that question is, raise your hand if you're worried about somebody you love right now. And typically everybody raises their hand.
I bet everyone has their hand up.
And then you ask the question, how many are at the tipping point of not one more thing? Not another piece of mail with some, overdue notice, not another phone call from a friend who's in crisis, whatever, just not one more thing. And most people raise their hand then. And that's kind of code for burnout when you're at capacity. Because when you are suffering from burnout, you do not have the capacity to engage in one more thing, even if it's the best thing. If somebody's going to give you a puppy that's already trained
housebroken,
and, all the grooming services and the food for a lifetime, you're going to say no.
That's right.
Because you're out of capacity. So the happiness practice really helps us gain back our human capacity and shift from being human doings that think to human beings that feel. Mm-hmm. So it helps us travel. The longest journey we all make is the 17 inches from our head to our heart. And we can do it when we're 5, 15, 55, 95.
Well, I've heard that happiness is a choice, that you have to choose to take a step in that direction. And I think one of the things you mentioned here earlier, which I've heard a lot about, is that we don't have any margin in our life. Margin being we're not at full capacity. We think we just have to keep filling our days up for whatever reason. Maybe it's even a medication reason. We fill up our days so we don't have to think about things. But you're right. We don't have any margin or any capacity to take advantage of an opportunity that comes along, or to even try something out, because we're just at our limit. We're overflowing, and that's a sad situation for people.
Yeah, somewhere along the line, we kind of got tricked into thinking that if we just do one more thing, we'll be okay and happy.
That's the next thing, yeah.
And sometimes the most important thing to do is to stop, take a breath, take a nap, be still, ask for help, right?
Yeah, that's true. Sometimes, though, we're asking for help from the wrong people, and we can talk more about that, I'm sure, in the show here, but that's why the program, I'm so excited about having you on here, because I think it really is an epidemic, just like the pandemic was. I think this sense of burnout, sense of at capacity, and that's not what we need right now. We had the state demographer's office on, and there's over 600,000 unpaid children and adults that are taking care of other people, because we're aging, the baby boom generation, and they're struggling. They're struggling to try to take care of other people. And so I can see that's why it's so timely to have you on the show and talk about how we can take care of ourselves and maybe help take care of others in a different way. I know we gotta take a quick break here. It's time for a short break, folks. We'll be right back to continue our conversation with Nancy O'Brien, founder and CEO of Experience Happiness. And she's based here in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and she is talking about the relationship between happiness and burnout. Burnout has a unique set of physical, emotional, and behavioral symptoms, all of which can be mitigated by cultivating authentic, inside-out happiness. If you have a question for Nancy, please give us a call, 952-946-6205, or text us at 612-999-3426. I'm Ken Hageland, and you are listening to Living Healthy and Aging Well.
I started going cold turkey. Well, at least when I'm in the car.
I know I shouldn't do it, but it's so hard to stop. That's why I hide it from myself, so I won't be tempted.
I used to do it all the time. I stopped by locking it in my glove compartment.
My friend used to do it way too much. Now I turn it off when we're in the car.
My solution is simple. I just don't do it.
There are lots of ways to stop yourself and others from texting and driving. How will you stop? Tell us at stoptextstoprex.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Hello, everyone. This is Becky McNatten
and Tara Martini,
hosts of Feels Out Loud.
Join us this Sunday as we process through compassionate curiosity. We'll look at what this is, how to practice it, and share stories about how our lives change when we commit to a curiosity framework. We also want to hear your questions about compassionate curiosity. Email us at comment@am950radio.com, and we may share your questions on the show.
This Sunday, grab your coffee, find a comfortable spot, and tune in at 9 a.m. to live and share mental health with us together.
Hi, I'm Corey Wisco, president of the Wellshire. The Wellshire excels as a memory care community in the Twin Cities, located in Bloomington, and we have a new location in Medina. But what makes Wellshire so different is the people that we have working for us. Our team has been together for the past 25 years providing this type of care. We employ some of the most amazing nurses and LPNs that are in the building 24 hours a day. We also have an activity team that is over 40 people. And our scheduling begins at 9 o'clock in the morning for activities, and it goes to 7, 8 o'clock at night. And that's 7 days a week. You won't find that. That is why many of the families that come to Wellshire are actually coming from another memory care facility. Not all memory care is created equally. And that's why I encourage you, if you've had issues and problems at other places, come see what makes us so special. Please visit thewellshiremn.com and book a tour.
Next time on Philosophy Talk, collective action and climate change.
Hotter fires, faster floods, drier droughts. Global warming is here.
Yeah, and if we want to prevent it getting even worse, we're going to have to act together.
But how do you get 8 billion people to sing from the same hymn sheet? Everyone's singing a different song.
And they're not all particularly tuneful.
Collective action and climate change. Next time on Philosophy Talk.
Catch Philosophy Talk every Sunday morning at 8 on AM 950, the progressive voice of Minnesota. Hi everyone, Twitter is a cesspool of ugliness and hate. Facebook, Instagram, and Threads all no longer allow basic fact-checking, meaning hate and bigotry will be officially recognized as acceptable discourse. Even TikTok is headed into the right-wing toilet. But fret not. Come to where the sky is blue. Both AM 950 Radio and the Matt McNeil Show are now on Blue Sky. Remember the time when you didn't despise checking your social media accounts? That's Blue Sky. Sign up today, then search and follow the Matt McNeil Show and AM 950 Radio, the progressive voice of Minnesota.
All right, welcome back, everyone. You are listening to Living Healthy and Aging Well, where we talk about helping you and your loved ones improve and enjoy your quality of life. My name is Ken Hageland, and joining me today is Nancy O'Brien, founder and CEO of Experience Happiness. And she's based right here. Her and her team are based right here in Minneapolis, Minnesota, but she does do programs and her work all across the globe. But we're very, very fortunate to have her here in Minneapolis. And today she's talking about the relationship between happiness and burnout and why happiness propels well-being on all levels and contributes greatly to our overall health and well-being at any stage and at any age in life. So if you have a question for us, please give us a call, 952-946-6205, or text us at 612-999-3426. Nancy, how can our listeners contact you or your organization if they have questions or want more information about this topic?
Oh, thank you, Ken. So I'm easy to reach. Our website is experiencehappiness.biz, B-I-Z. And you can always reach me, Nancy, at experiencehappiness.biz. And I'll give out my phone number, 651-249-8487. I'm I'm 66, so I still like a phone call.
I know.
I will respond to voicemail messages. My kids laugh at me. It's like, Mom, nobody does voicemail messages anymore.
Yeah,
I'm like,
right.
Well, I do.
Yeah. Well, I give out my phone number, too, every time on the show here. So I love when people talk and get a chance to connect. And I think that's also an element of burnout is that we don't talk to each other anymore. I mean, people in businesses, offices, they'll be texting and emailing each other, and they don't just get up out of their chair and walk across the room to talk. But that's just kind of the...
Well, you're onto something, Ken, because the Surgeon General has burnout as the second pandemic globally, specifically for anybody in the caring fields. Hospice, like
yes.
Your organization, thank you for doing that important work. Somebody at home caring for a child or a parent or a friend,
right.
a partner. Yeah. I just had lunch last week with a good friend, and I was kind of catching her up on, what's going on in my life. And she's like, my ex-husband needs me a lot right now because he's not doing so well. And she's like, I had no idea this was what it's going to be, right? So, again... we need each other. And then the Surgeon General also has loneliness, as a huge issue. Like loneliness impacts our health and well-being as greatly as a 2-pack-a-day cigarette habit.
Oh, I believe it. I just talked to a doctor who said, you got to get away from the TV. TV is passive. People think, I'm watching TV. No, it's passive. You need to engage with other people, whether it's cards or cribbage or conversation. That actually is what helps stimulate the mind and open up, more synapses. But just being passive, it doesn't. It's. I think there's so much research that's going to be showing how critical it is to socialize. And you're right, loneliness. Well, we know in the elder age population, loneliness, isolation, and boredom is what kills people. I mean, it's the worst torture we've devised in human history is isolation, right?
Well, we're social, emotional creatures.
Yes.
So we actually need each other in order to understand ourselves. Right. That's actually one reason the happiness practice is a behavioral health solution that is learned and practiced in groups.
Oh, okay. That's good to know.
So everybody becomes students and teachers of each other in this life practice because no one's got the answer. And the other thing about the happiness practice, it's not another thing to do. You know, when you Google, like, I feel this way, so what do I do? Take a pill, exercise, lose weight, whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
The happiness practice isn't another thing to do. It cultivates a way of being no matter what you're doing. Washing the dishes, walking the dog, having that challenging conversation with your child.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about the happiness practice.
Mm-hmm. Let's do that.
Because I'm just thinking people are wondering, well, what? Okay, it's not something I do.
Yeah.
So, because again, we're so trained to, you got to talk to an expert, or you got to take a pill, or you got to, it's all these prescriptions, right? Mm-hmm. So let's talk about your solution.
Okay, good. Can I also add, before we start, I want to point you to the World Happiness Report. So in 2011, the United Nations sponsored the first global World Happiness Report. And that's about the same time my friend and I were kind of like, we got to figure something out because we're not doing so well. And what was interesting about their 2013 report is they looked at 1,500 subjective well-being and happiness reports that were done around the world.
Oh, they got meta-analysis?
And said, we've had it backwards.
Oh, really?
We've used to think we had to be healthy in order to be happy, but the inverse is true.
Right. To be healthy, you need to be happy.
Yes, because when you're authentically happy, guess what? You simmer down all those stress, indicators, right? Your inflammation settles down. So they've linked happiness to improve cardiovascular health, longevity, inflammation-related diseases. And guess what we do when we're happy? We get out of our bedroom and our slippers and we go out and we socialize. So anyway, just something to kind of dig into. If you want to know the benefits of happiness, there's plenty.
Well, there is, and it can be contagious too. If people say, Nancy, I want what you have. I want to have that same energy that you have. And I think energy gets just depleted when people aren't happy. I mean, happiness helps. It maybe even helps the mitochondria in our cells, which creates the ATP and the energy and all the things we need to actually function as a human being.
Exactly. And the thing is, we're born to be happy. Have you ever seen a newborn baby not happy? Even when they're wailing, right? They're like happy, like I'm here, right?
Right.
So I'll just share this with you.
Let's do this because we got to up another break here.
Okay.
Another quick break here, Nancy. So hold that thought. It's time for a short break, folks. We'll be right back to continue our conversation with Nancy O'Brien, founder and CEO of Experience Happiness, based here in Minneapolis, Minnesota. And she is talking about something so critical here, and it's so important. It's about the relationship between happiness and burnout, and why happiness can propel well-being on all levels and contributes greatly to our overall health and well-being at any stage and at any age in life. If you have a question, please give us a call, 952-946-6205, or text us at 612-999-3426. I'm Ken Hageland, and you are listening to Living Healthy and Aging Well.
This is Robert Pilot of Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, weekdays at 5 p.m. On our show, you'll hear about Native issues like treaties, protecting Mother Earth, and holding our elected officials accountable. Weekly correspondents like Dr. Stately, State Senator Mary Kunesh, Robert Lilligren, and Bob Blake update us with the latest news from Turtle Island. Native issues are human issues, and human issues are Native issues. Listen weekdays at 5 p.m. or watch the show on Native Roots Radio social media accounts. Ho-wah!
Chronic diseases, often pervasive and long-lasting, undeniably pose difficult challenges. At Hypercharge Wellness, we recognize the pressing need for integrative solutions that complement medical treatments, ensuring a true holistic approach. We've harnessed physician-directed, evidence-based modalities to promote well-being, symptom alleviation, and improve quality of life for those struggling with chronic conditions, including autoimmune diseases, fibromyalgia, migraine, dementia, and more. Chronic diseases present complex interplay of immunological, genetic, and environmental factors. While managing these these conditions, integrating non-invasive, evidence-based modalities can offer a significant improvement in one's quality of life. At Hypercharge, we prioritize cutting-edge therapies tailored to target the root cause of these disorders. Experience a free introductory session at Hypercharge Wellness at your convenient locations based in Maple Grove, Eden Prairie, and Woodbury. This is your opportunity to feel the difference for yourself. Call or schedule online for your free introductory session valued at $200 today. Visit hyperchargeclinic.com now. Hypercharge is hope.
Turn to Auto Technical with your vehicle donation. We have families waiting for a car. You know, over 85% of unemployed are successful in finding and keeping a job if they have dependable transportation. A car plus a job equals a life changed. 612-919-5526. We have families waiting for a car. 919-5526 or autotech.org.
Hi, I'm Peter Solak.
And I'm Adam Ostrowski.
We are here at Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces to talk about the joy of live fire cooking. Cooking over a live fire is the oldest and most basic form of cooking.
What's new is in the way fire is handled and its heat is managed.
It's easier to experience and enjoy the smell and taste of food cooked over a live fire.
Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces sells and installs live fire grills, fire pits, and ovens. Let us help you experience the smell, the taste, the fun of cooking with fire.
Pizza was first made and is still best made in an open fire oven. The radiant and conductive heat of a live fire is unmatched for wood roasting and baking artisan breads too.
Come see the many ways you can cook over a live fire.
Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces has over 35 working wood and gas units on display at the corner of East Franklin and Riverside Avenue in Minneapolis. More information at woodlandstoves.com. Find the fire that works for you. Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces. Out of the ordinary products and services since 1977.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm John Weston. Today, some afternoon snow and a high of 37 degrees. And for tonight, a chance of more snow, then clearing, low 32. And on Sunday, a partly sunny day, high 43 degrees. Cafe Latte provides a cafe dining experience with delicious gourmet quality food. Their ever-changing menu of award-winning salads, sandwiches, and soups means you're sure to find something you love. Cafe Latte off Victoria and Grand. CafeLatte.com.
This is AM 950, the progressive voice of Minnesota.
All right, welcome back, folks. You are listening to Living Healthy and Aging Well, where we talk about helping you and your loved ones improve and enjoy your quality of life. My name is Ken Hageland, and joining me today is Nancy O'Brien, founder and CEO of Experience Happiness. And her team and her organization is based right here in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and she is talking about the relationship between happiness and burnout. I see it all the time in our practice. And I'm just so grateful to have her here today to start to talk about, her program and why she believes happiness propels well-being on all levels and contributes greatly to our overall health and well-being at any stage and at any age in life. If you have any questions for us, please give us a call, 952-946-6205, or you can text us at 612-999-3426. Nancy, before we get into our conversation here, could you let our listeners know how they can contact you or your organization if they have questions or want more information?
Thank you for that, Ken. So you can reach me at Nancy, N-A-N-C-Y, at experiencehappiness.biz, B-I-Z. My phone number is 651-249-8487. And you can also reach me through our website, which is experiencehappiness.biz.
All right, I would encourage folks to look at that website. It is a beautiful website, and with a lot of information and a lot of great things, resources for people. So please go check the website out. All right, let's start talking about your program, your solution.
Yes. So our main offering is the Happiness Practice, or THP for short. And Ken, I'm going to invite you to engage in this a little bit. The Happiness Practice begins with redefining happiness. So the definition of happiness, we invite people to try on and explore is this: that happiness is our innate ability to locate and cultivate our serenity and our excitement about life, regardless of outside forces.
You mean I can't let circumstances affect me?
Well, that would be a choice. So my question to you is, how do you feel and how do you behave when you're not serene and you're not excited about your life?
Let's see. I start to move faster. I feel like I have a lot to do, and I feel like I have a lot to accomplish, and I never can get it done. So I'm always behind.
Rushed.
Yes, right, absolutely. Welcome to 24-hour, 7-day-a-week businesses and obligations. Mm-hmm. We just pile on obligations. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Mm-hmm. So what's interesting about happiness is, in relationship to burnout, there's 16 signs and symptoms of burnout. And most people, when I asked them the question, and you generously shared your response, a lot of times when people don't feel serene or excited about their life, it looks like burnout. So I'm showing Ken the list of burnout symptoms right here. And for the listeners, you can go on our website. We have a free and confidential happiness and burnout assessment. Like, check in on you. Like, where are you with happiness and burnout? So, Ken, when you look at this list of burnout symptoms, what do you observe about yourself and others?
Oh, I'm just checking off all the boxes here. That's just part of life, I'm thinking.
Yeah, you think it is part of life. It's like, well, that's what it is.
That's how life is.
Right. Right. So now what's interesting is what we learned is when we start to cultivate happiness by using the 5 principles of happiness, these symptoms of burnout simmer down. I, for one, was probably, we use the scale of 1 low, 5 high. I was probably 4.5 on all 16 symptoms, no. Right? And now, kind of at any day, I'm hovering, maybe having 2 or 3 signs and symptoms I should pay attention to, but I'm more on a 1.5, scale. Because the thing about the happiness practice, it's a life practice. It's something that's already inside of us, and it's a 24/7 self-care practice you can do anytime, anywhere. It was interesting because last week I was driving. I don't even recall where I was driving to. I saw 3 major car accidents. Like, one was a car fire. The other one was like 3 car. It was like in the span of 5 minutes, there were major car accidents. And I'm like, that is my indication to practice principle number 1, be conscious. Because those accidents happened because people weren't conscious. They weren't really here. They were worried about where they were going and what were they going to say or do, or worried about the conversation they just had with their best friend. Right? So, again, the happiness practice is a behavioral health solution. We have a return on happiness measurement system. So now we have 13 years worth of data working with clients all over the world. Happiness on average will go up 19%. Burnout will go down 22%. And we're always measuring key performance indicators at the individual and organizational level. And those key performance indicators go up typically 8%. Most organizations are looking at reducing turnover, improving engagement, improving satisfaction, patient satisfaction, customer satisfaction. So those are kind of the 3 primary metrics. But other organizations, like we brought the happiness practice to teachers in Finland who work with special needs children, and so we were measuring the impact of the teachers' improved happiness, reduce burnout on the behaviors of special needs children.
Oh, interesting.
Right?
Yes.
And so they selected as like, oh, here's how the students behave when they're feeling heard. Here's how they behave when they're not feeling heard. So we're always measuring what matters to the organization. So what I'd like to do is introduce you and your wonderful listeners to the 5 principles of happiness and just try them on for size. So principle number 1 is be conscious. That's about paying attention to what you're doing and how you're feeling while you're doing it. Washing the dishes, having this conversation on the radio show, right? We're doing something, right? But we need to pay attention to how we're feeling while we're engaged in our life experience. Principle number 2 is honor those feelings because our feelings are our guidance system. And you and I are both in this same experience, but the information we're getting from our emotional field is not the same. And so this is where we start to expand our emotional lexicon and get beneath mad, sad, happy, scared, or busy. So how are you, Ken? Busy. Right?
Right.
So how are you? How are you feeling, Ken?
Right now, I love being on the radio, so I'm feeling really good.
Can you go a little deeper?
Well, joyful, because, I mean, we're sharing information with each other that I think we both find extremely fascinating, and be able to share that with other people just gives a great sense of joy. So
I'm just going to add here, because when we really do a diagnostic on our feelings, like there's typically a combination of comfortable and uncomfortable feelings. Like you could be joyful, curious, pressured, because we're going to have another commercial break here in a minute, right?
Right.
So we're meant to pay attention to all our feelings. And this is where we move beyond positive psychology, because quite frankly, those uncomfortable feelings might just save our life. We're meant to not just gloss over something uncomfortable. We're like, lean into it. They're trying to be a teacher. Right. And what we know from the research, and thanks to the World Happiness Report, the suppression of feelings is the root of most disease states. So those feelings that we ignore don't go away. No, they sit in our energetic system and come out in the form of disease.
Right.
So just when we acknowledge to ourselves how we're feeling, nobody needs to know how you're feeling but you. It's your guidance system to help you inform your next conscious decision. Then principle number 3 is this: release control to be empowered. Ken, how well do you control the thoughts and feelings and actions of other people?
I'm still working on that, but I know I have no impact at all. I can barely deal with myself, let alone other people.
Well, so that's
it takes the pressure off, though, when you realize, well, I have no control over anybody else. But isn't that? I mean, that's what we find most relationships, in the workplace, in personal relationships, thinking I can control the other person.
I'll be happy when you start behaving the way I want you to behave.
Right, exactly,
right?
That's right.
Right?
Yeah.
And so there's this notion of the happiness hostage. Like when we place our happiness outside of ourselves in anything, whether the Vikings win the the game or not, go on a Super Bowl, blah, 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 whether the child gets, the homework assignment done, whether that, irritable coworker kind of shapes up, right? Yeah. We are actually putting ourselves in a hostage crisis.
True.
We're placing our happiness outside of ourselves. Now, that doesn't mean we cannot create invitations to other people to say, hey, when this happens, this is how I feel. How are you feeling when this happens? And can we, do something? So that leads to principle number 4, which is co-create what works now. Because guess what? Everything and everyone is always changing. I mean, wow, right? Like, buckle up, buttercup.
It's a moving target,
right?
Yeah.
Buckle up. And so, a lot of our discomfort comes from thinking we know how things should be. When we are always invited to stay in the moment release our control, stay curious, and empower ourselves and others to create what could be. We were sharing the happiness practice with a group of people at Hindman Healthcare that make up the emergency department. And there's 20 departments that make up an emergency department. Right. Everything from security guards to the first responders to, yes, the nurses and doctors. But it's also the social workers, the chaplains, food service labs. So it's everybody, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, so we were, gathered together for a happiness practice session. And one of the people walked in and said, we have a bus of 22 5-year-olds that were just in an accident.
Oh.
So what works now is everybody leaving this room and all hands on deck. Right? So, we tend to kind of hop to it when there's an emergency, like let's co-create what works now. But the reality is we should be doing that all day long.
Right. Yep.
Just imagine the pressure, right? When I'd really like to make this roast for dinner, but I forgot to put it in the crock pot, so it's not going to be ready, and the kids are going to be hungry. It's like, it's okay to go through Taco Bell. You know what I mean?
Right.
But principle number 5 is where we look at...
Nancy, can we hold number 5 for a second here? We got that quick, short break here. Tom is giving me the signal. We'll be right back, folks, to continue our conversation with Nancy O'Brien, founder and CEO of Experience Happiness, based in Minneapolis, Minnesota. And she's talking about the relationship between happiness and burnout and why happiness propels well-being on all levels and contributes greatly to our overall health and well-being at any stage and at any age of life. If you have a question, please give us a call, 952-946-6205, or text us at 612-999-3426. I'm Ken Hageland, and you're listening to Living Healthy and Aging Well.
Hi, I'm Mary T., inviting you to experience our integrative Mary T. Health and Wellness Center, offering physical, occupational, speech, and lymphedema therapies. Experience our guided imagery, meditation, Tibetan medicine, dry needling, massage services, including cupping and oncology massage. Sign up for our free wellness screenings and learn more at marytwellness.com. All major health insurance providers are accepted. Come for therapy. Experience wellness.
Peace of mind shouldn't cost a fortune. We keep things simple at Schroman Law because we believe planning for your estate and end-of-life care shouldn't be stressful or expensive. Every client relationship starts with a free consultation so clients have the information they need before making important decisions. From there, we work closely with clients to ensure they are choosing the most efficient and cost-effective plans for their specific needs. Schedule a free consultation today at schromanlaw.com. That's SCHROMEN law.com.
Cafe Latte offers made-from-scratch soups, salads, sandwiches, and mouth-watering desserts.
So come check out their pizza and wine bar, or get a treat from the bakery made fresh daily. Plus, you can still do online ordering and takeout, along with gift cards. Just go to cafelatte.com and choose from their ever-changing selection of award-winning salads, sandwiches, and soups. Cafe Latte is located off Victoria and Grand and online at cafelatte.com.
You may not think of it, but winter is a great time to take care of those exterior home projects. This is Chad, owner of AM 950 for Snap Construction. Most people wait until the warmer months for their exterior home projects, but labor costs are actually lowest in the winter. And that's true for the contractor I trust, Snap Construction. Arguably the most well-reviewed exterior contractor and insulation contractor in the metro. Are you noticing ice dams on your house, or is your furnace constantly running and you're still not comfortable? In addition to your exterior home projects, winter is also a great time to get your insulation checked with a free energy audit from Snap Construction. The average cost to upgrade your insulation is oftentimes less than a new furnace. Plus, there are rebates available from your energy provider when you upgrade your insulation. As always, Snap Construction stands by their work with a lifetime craftsmanship warranty. So don't wait for prices to rise in the warmer months. Get a free estimate now by calling 612-333-SNAP, 612-333-SNAP, or go to snapconstruction.com.
Why must the world be so cold? They've gone against what was told. Thinking rape is cool, think about it. They think it's not wrong, violence against women, the rape, the abuse, the emotional, physical, they all hold the hate. Think about it. Is it right or wrong? What attracts you? I'm not saying no names, but you laugh. Talk about it like nothing is wrong. Think about it. They all hold the hate, Gotta stop the violence. Stop the hate. Think about it.
Sponsored by the Minnesota Indian Women's Sexual Assault Coalition.
And Aging Well, where we talk about helping you and your loved ones improve and enjoy your quality of life. My name is Ken Hageland, and joining me today is Nancy O'Brien, founder and CEO of Experience Happiness. And her organization is based here in Minneapolis, Minnesota. And we're talking about the relationship between happiness and burnout and why it's so important, why happiness propels well-being on all levels and contributes greatly to our overall health and well-being at any stage of life and at any age of life. So this is universal application, right, Nancy? And so last segment here, we're going to try to get in as much information as we can. But in the meantime, if people have questions or want to get more information, how do they get a hold of you and your organization?
Just come to our website, experiencehappiness.biz. You will find me. I'll keep this brief because we're running out of time. Yes. So principle number 5, my friends. Learn life lessons. And in the context of the happiness practice, that's looking at our beliefs, because our beliefs create our thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. So like one of the beliefs I had that led me into full-blown burnout was, if I didn't do it, it wouldn't be done right. Who can relate to that?
The anti-delegation.
Well, I didn't think my kids could take out the trash, or my friends bring the right order for wine club, let alone, my colleagues. So the interesting thing about beliefs is we're all meant to tend to the beliefs in our happiness garden, because there's constructive beliefs and destructive beliefs. And there's 2 root destructive beliefs that are kind of the cause of all bad behavior, is the belief of I'm not loved and the belief of I'm not good enough. And no one's exempt from looking at the cascading beliefs around those 2 events. In fact, that's the purpose of our life, is to remove, those beliefs, so we get to this knowing of I am loved, I am worthy. So in some ways, the happiness practice is a return to self-love and self-worth. So happiness practice, not another thing to do. It's a behavioral health solution. We work with organizations, typically starting with a leadership team, because most leaders are burned out. And it is 8 hours of group time, but it's 12 45-minute group sessions. Every month there's a learning session for one of the principals. 2 weeks later there's a happiness huddle, which is everybody's favorite part, because you're learning from each other about this life practice. And what I love is people come in and say, this worked my 16-year-old, so I'm going to start using it with my colleagues. And then our measurement system, we do pre, mid, and post metrics, so you always can check in on you. You see yourself healing from burnout and improving happiness and the byproducts, innovation, resiliency, and sustainability, and then those key performance indicators.
Yes. Well, I know in organizations, one of the big topics that's been around for a long time is presenteeism. It's not just absenteeism. Now with the remote work, hybrid work, working at home, not working at home, working in the office, I think the problem with working at home is that it really isolates people again, which reinforces some of the frustrations and some of the concerns that you're raising here on why people aren't happy. But they're not happy going back to work either.
Yeah, and I have another angle on presenteeism, because I think when you're burned out, you don't have a capacity to even hear the other person, what they're saying.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
So it doesn't matter if you're virtual or you're whatnot. You're when you're burned out, you have no capacity.
Right.
And so you got to dial down burnout and dial up happiness, so you have human capacity to be present.
Right.
To be compassionate. It was interesting. Last year, the CDC Foundation hired us to develop the Happiness and Health Leadership Academy, and we piloted it at Methodist Hospital with senior leaders and Washington County with senior leaders. because the CDC Foundation, through their other work, said that employers have the greatest impact on population health. And within an employee organization, whoever somebody reports to has the greatest impact on that person's well-being and their family. Because you can imagine, do you get time off to take your child to the dentist? Well, that whoever you're reporting to that day either says yes or no. Right? And then whatever response there. But they also realize that it's compassionate awareness and action that creates leaders' ability to actually put employee happiness at the center of their leadership style. So what we did and discovered with Happiness and Health Leadership Academy is burnout went down, happiness went up, but leaders' compassion awareness and action improved. Huge. That changes the whole game.
Right.
Because quite frankly, my good friend coined this quote years ago, unhappy people are dangerous.
Boy, to themselves and others in the organization. Well, no question, because when people leave organizations, they leave their manager. They don't leave the organization.
They break up with their boss.
Right. That's why it's so critical to have leaders that understand these things and that they're not at burnout, because again they're less effective, maybe even useless to their staff.
And the other thing I learned, because I love my work doing experience strategy and experience design in the Dreambox studio at RSP Architects. But what I learned is we can get the best strategy going for the employee and customer experience. Yeah. But if the employees are burned out, they can't execute that. There's that old saying, culture eats strategy for lunch, but burnout eats strategy and culture for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Anyway. And I will say, what's been fun over the years is the leaders who would bring us into organizations has kind of changed. Now this is mostly a professional development, offering. It's like, ooh, people need skills, but they need life tools too.
Nancy, this has been great. We are at the end of the show already, the fastest hour of your life.
How can that be?
I know. But I want to thank you for being here. Nancy O'Brien, founder and CEO of Experience Happiness, based here in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Thank you for being here, for sharing the relationship between happiness and burnout. We'll have to have you back on the show. There's so much more to talk about. This has been just absolutely great. How can our listeners contact you and your organization if they have more questions or want more information?
The website is experiencehappiness.biz, B-I-Z. My email is nancy@experiencehappiness.biz, and my phone number is 651-249-8487. And thank you, Ken, for creating this space.
Oh, my pleasure. I just am so grateful to have you on the show today. We'll get you back because there's so much more to talk about. All right, we hope you enjoyed today's show, folks. Please contact us with any questions or comments you have regarding today's conversation or any other conversation. You can reach us anytime by voice or text at 612-999-3426. Join us again next Saturday at noon for another broadcast. And thank you for listening to Living Healthy and Aging Well, where we talk about your health and your life. And until next time, choose to be happy.
Feel the